guys, Yomi here again, and today I'm getting the Mastery Dog Tag for the Scar H Sniper variant, otherwise known as the Scar H SV in Battlefield 4. And this is the final DMR in the game, and it takes quite a while to get to whenever you're first starting out, unless you quickly learn how to use DMRs to your advantage and not using it on maps like TDM, putting yourself at an intentional disadvantage like I did for this Mastery Dog Tag. I've actually been working on this Mastery Dog Tag for about the past week. In fact, you could see me using it in 2 previous videos, 2 of my last 3 videos. There's a couple scenes where I'm using it because I had a pretty long way to go with it, and DMRs are not exactly the fastest killing weapon. You're not going to accumulate the most kills with them very often, and these 2 matches were pretty good, but it's not anywhere near as good as I would have done with like an assault rifle, because yeah, as I said before, playing team deathmatch with a DMR is kind of putting yourself at an intentional disadvantage, because pretty much in close quarters you're going to get outshot every single time. And before we progress any further, I just want to say that I'm going to be streaming Battlefield Hardline Beta Tuesday or tomorrow at 6 p.m. US Eastern Time, as well as Friday night at the same time. Of course, it's US Eastern Time, so you're going to have to put in like a converter or something to figure out which time it is for you. And for people in Europe, I'm sorry, it's going to be crazy late / early for you in the morning, but there's nothing I can do about that. So I'm really looking forward to playing the beta. It should be a lot of fun. Now back to the Scar H Sniper variant. What does it have going for it? Now, before the patch that upgraded DMRs a ton, and that was like 6 months ago or so now, really there was no reason to use it. You could actually do semi-auto mode with the normal Scar H assault rifle and probably do better with that, because you can fire that a lot faster than this, and DMRs were just god-awful whenever Battlefield 4 first came out. But now, thankfully, it's changed, and the Scar H is one of the 3 higher damaging DMRs. In fact, it's got a pretty fast time to kill if you learn to use it right, which I think I did. And it has one of the better hip fires of the DMRs. So in my second match at Flood Zone, I put a vertical grip on there to aid this, and it was pretty good at hip firing enemies, even out hip firing certain assault rifles. The Scar H Sniper variant also has low, manageable recoil, to making it pretty easy to use. It's kind of ironic, seeing as it's the last DMR, that one of the best DMRs is the last DMRs. That's how it used to be in old school games, so you had to work to get the better guns. But yeah, really, it's pretty much the best of the DMRs as far as I can see, and it's definitely worth grinding through to get it. But nevertheless, it is kind of a hassle to use just because it's a DMR. I mean, trying to get 500 kills is way harder with it than any automatic weapon, just because it's semi-auto. And yeah, it was getting really irritating because I was just trying to grind through and get to 500 kills, and man, I was getting raped almost all the time because there's guys just running guns that are better, and guns that are better, the category of guns that are better is pretty much every other gun in the game. So yeah, that wasn't the best experience in my playing. That being said, whenever the ranges started to open up, whenever I was able to put it into the situations where DMRs excel, it was pretty fun. I was even out sniping snipers a lot of times, just if you make sure you get those headshots, which is pretty easy because the recoil is so low that you can follow up with a second headshot pretty easily. Yeah, I was able to take them out pretty quickly, and I was kind of getting dominant at certain places whenever it got to the longer ranges. Of course, sometimes you're going to get killed by an assault rifle if it can manage to hit you multiple times. But the speed which you can spam this gun is one of the highest of the DMRs, and since it has such a low recoil, it's almost encouraged. So if it comes to that, you can do that, and it's perfectly viable of an option. It used to be annoying as hell because the you know, psh sound that it used to make if you got fired at with a DMR. But now I don't really have a problem with it, and it might actually be the only way to actually live through most situations. And then you have to consider that in the team deathmatch servers, you're not necessarily going to be playing against the best players on the planet. They seem to be filled with guys who are extremely low level, so you see me out shooting guys who should have had me dead to rights. over and over again in some of these clips, but I really think it's because of rank and experience, not because of the guns themselves, because, yeah, their teams sometimes were not the best. My team lost basically every game that I played, so our team was worse, but still, yeah, you kind of have to take the lower ranks into account whenever you see me raping people on some of these clips. It's definitely not as impressive as it looks. But back to the attributes of the Scar H Sniper variant, which I've kind of moved away from and turned into kind of a rant. It does have a very fast reload. In fact, it's exactly the same reload as the Scar H, the standard assault rifle Scar H, because you are using a Scar H. Like, people aren't really realizing that you're using a Scar H with a heavier barrel and a larger caliber bullet. So it could get you out of a pinch every once in a while, but it's not going to be as noticeable as, say, an assault rifle with a really fast reload. But it did help every once in a while, and I mean, it is really appreciated that you don't have to watch this extremely brutally long reload like with the QBU-88 every single time you fire a few rounds. So overall, the Scar H Sniper variant is probably one of the best DMRs, probably I'd say one of the top 3 best DMRs, but really, I'm not that big on DMRs. I've never really been that big of them because basically in almost every situation you can easily outshoot one with an assault rifle if you manage to land your shots and move around to where their semi-auto shots can't hit you. Yeah, in terms of DMRs it's pretty good. In terms of every weapon in the game it's pretty average, but I would take it over the SKS any day because of its higher damage model, and it was pretty useful. So there we go, another weapon down and a lot left to go. So if there's another weapon that you would like me to do, make sure you say it down in the comments. And until next time, if you guys like this, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And this is Yummy. Goodbye and good hunting.